John Montfort here, and we now have the privilege of talking with the very successful, vivacious Suzanne Wade, formerly president of HEB, and a number of other business successes. So, Suzanne, tell us a little bit about your experiences coming up in the business world, the challenges you may have incurred, because, you know, After School All-Stars is designed as a program to build confidence in our youth, to help kids, to extend that helping hand to kids that might not otherwise have a helping hand, and a little advice I think would be beneficial.
Well, John, I often say I started my career in retail, and I spent over 40 years in retailing. But I always tell people I started when I was 6 years old selling Girl Scout cookies. And I recently retired, but I was still selling cookies anyway. But I just kind of found my passion early in life. I love people, and I find people very interesting, and retailing is all about people. And I enjoy sales. You know, I always liked that measurement of how successful and effective you were, and how you could help people and serve people through a sales type of career. And so I've been very fortunate that I grew up in a small town in Oklahoma. I worked in retail in high school and college, and then I was again fortunate to be with I say the biggest and the best, and the biggest in that I spent a number of years at Walmart, and the best obviously being HEB, which I've spent the last 23 years with until I retired in January.
Well, if you're a young lady out there in our viewing audience that has an ambition to get into business, you know, have we bridged the divide between men and women running major corporations? Is it getting better? What advice would you have for young women who are aspiring to a business career?
It's a lot better than when I started out. Although I always felt like I had a very fortunate career path, but you know, women now, when I was growing up in the business, I was it. I was the only woman in many of the meetings, and that's just not the case today. Or do we still have progress to make? Yes. So I always tell young women to, you know, first of all, they got to believe in themselves. You know, they have to, women are generally really well qualified and prepared. They just have to believe that themselves and have their own voice and not be intimidated by an environment that maybe is not exactly what they would create if they were the leader there. And that's probably been the best part of my career, is watching the progress of not just young women, but young men too, starting out in their career and then really developing and blossoming as a leader. So I think it always depends on doing something you love to do. I think that's first and foremost. I always tell people, find what you love to do, and then it's not work. And then second, you've got to believe in yourself, and you've got to, you can get all kinds of praise from other people, and people can help build your self-esteem, but also, you know, you have to be your own cheerleader, and you have to be that person that when you look in the mirror, you're happy with yourself, and you're committed to what you want to do and what your goals are.
Well, you've certainly been a model successful business leader, not just in our community, but in the state and nation. So thank you for that bit of advice. One last question. Most of us in our lifetimes, and I've been around a lot longer than you have, but we never quite encountered the experience of, you know, the challenges of a pandemic in our business, in our lives, in our families. In your estimation, how has this pandemic affected the way we do business throughout our cities, state, and nation? Well,
again, I would go back to retail, and I've seen some pretty dramatic changes just in the last 6 months. Acceleration of change, I would say. You know, online shopping was happening anyway, but people who have never participated in that marketplace at all very quickly got into it as business people. You saw the curbside. My stepdaughter has a jewelry store. She actually sold an engagement ring curbside. you know, and so if you can sell an engagement ring curbside, that's pretty amazing. But also the customers, people who've never taken advantage of delivery or curbside or ordering, you know, they got very comfortable with it because they had to. And so that, when you do that, you really redefine the whole supply chain. And so those kinds of changes happen very quickly, but I think they're going to even grow exponentially now.
Well, great advice from the successful and vivacious business leader, Suzanne Wade. Thank you.
Thank you, John.